So day traders lose money. It's not easy day trading stocks, especially if you're new. The odds are already stacked against you. And in this video, you're going to see why day traders lose money and what you can do to prevent that. So just to shed some light on this topic, I want to show you some articles I found and some videos I've found on YouTube, and I just want to show you and go over those for the next half a minute or so. I mean, it only takes a click to buy 50 shares of any stock. So why is it hard? Well, there's a lot that happens before you buy the stock, and what I mean by that, there's a lot that goes on in terms of planning, emotional stuff, discipline stuff, which I'm going to get more into in this video as well. Now, all the things that I'm going to be talking in this video are going to be based off of, or in the context of, day trading. So if some of these may also apply to value investing as well, but most of these things will be applied or are used for day trading. So let's get into it. So there's 4 points that I want to talk about. Number 1, you don't know where to trade. Number 2, you don't have a plan. Number 3, cutting your losses. And last but not the least, number 4, protecting your capital. So let's start with point number 1, right? You don't know where to trade. So most of you that want to get into trading or have been trading for some time, you don't know what to trade. Well, there's so many stocks in the market, right? So how do you know what to trade? Well, to be honest, this is actually an easy part. As long as you have the right tool. Sometimes the tool is there for you and you just have to find it. So you can find this tool in your broker. Your broker usually provides like the top gainers or the top losers. So if you go ahead and open that up with your broker, you can filter from those stocks and see which stocks are moving up or gapping up, right? Once you have that list, you need to see what stocks have the most volume. Volume is the key. Volume tells you how many people or how many traders are paying attention to this one specific stock. It's the stock doesn't move by itself, right? It's the people that make it move. So make sure you watch the volume and take it from there. So based on the stocks that are moving, that's how you can make a watch list, right? Because that's how you know a lot of people are paying attention to that and you can join in on that move. But before you do anything, make your watch list and see, hey, is this stock looking strong or is it looking weak? Once you have that, check the daily chart of that stock, right? Does the chart look whippy? Does the start hold its gains? Does the stock is not holding its gains on the daily chart, right? Look for those things. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up candlestick charts on YouTube and you'll see what I'm talking about. So definitely check the daily chart of the stock that are on your watch list, so that way you know if this stock is weak or has some strength. If you're a beginner, I would only suggest you watch maybe 1 or 2 stock and just learn from that. And you might not even have to trade. You can just learn from watching the price action of how a stock moves, right? Most of these stocks have personalities. Some of these stocks are very whippy. Some of these stocks are very strong. So that's why looking at the daily chart, it tells you what the personality is of that stock. So point number 2, you don't have a plan. So let's start with the basics, right? What is the plan? So plan is just an analysis of where your entry is going to be and where your exit is going to be. You can write your plan on a piece of paper, or you can pull up the chart, draw like horizontal lines of support and resistance. Wherever you see there's weakness and strength, maybe write a little note or put it down on paper. So whatever you feel comfortable with. I usually do that on the chart just because that's what I'm comfortable with. But this step can be the easiest or the hardest. Just because we have a plan doesn't mean we're going to follow it, right? So make sure if you're making this plan, make sure you follow it, execute it. If you don't, things can go really bad. You can have major losses or false positive winners, and that's going to make you have more bad habits. So make sure you follow the plan. Point number 3, cutting your losses. If your plan didn't work out, make sure you exit that position, because if you don't, that position can go against you very quickly, and then more bad habits are going to kick in. For example, maybe adding to a losing position, and you don't want to do that. If your initial plan didn't work out, you need to step back and reevaluate and see, hey, why it didn't work out. Was it maybe you missed something from the chart or whatever the case is? But you need to step back and reevaluate and not take that trade. This is what I do. So all these tips that I'm telling you, this is what I do, right? I'm not a financial advisor, nothing like that. I'm just sharing what I do, and maybe you can learn from this. Or if you don't have these guidelines, maybe you can start from these guidelines and make your own from there. And once again, don't add to a losing position. You can always come back and enter again when the time is right and when the chart is looking right, but don't, in my opinion, do not add to a losing position, especially if you're new. Cut your losses quickly. You can always come back. The last thing you want is your losses to go spiral. And trust me, that will happen, and that can happen, and that has happened to me a few times. After that, I learned my lesson. So this is something that we're going to go in the next topic about capital, but you want to make sure you save your capital, right? Because the loss that you're going to keep, it's just going to get bigger, and you don't want that. You want to make sure you're staying alive every day to trade again. There's always going to be opportunities that are going to come up. Some are going to be missed. You can't catch everything, right? That's just part of the game. You just want to catch that piece of the pie and take your profit and just run. That's it. Even if you're up a lot, right, and one losing trade can wipe out your profits for the whole month, for the whole weeks, or whatever the case is. This is why you got to make sure you follow these rules so you protect your winners. One losing trade can wipe out your entire month of losses. And that has happened to me, happened to a lot of traders. It's just part of the process. It's part of the journey, and it's going to happen if you don't stick to your rules. Point number 4, protecting your capital. It's the last point, but it's also one of the most important one. You need capital to trade. So if you don't have that, how are you going to trade, right? So you got to make sure you're protecting, you're guarding your capital with whatever you got, right? So let's get more into this. In my experience, this is what's going to keep you in the game. I mean, you need capital to trade. So you will only survive if you have a daily loss set. For example, for me, it's about $150, right? So when I'm at that $150, I put my hands away from the keyboard and I'm just very alert at that time, right? So, and in the next point that I'm going to bring up now, which is going to be around what's my percentage, right? So I only like to risk 0.5% up to 1% max of my account size on the daily loss, not per trade, but on the daily loss, right? So once that 0.5% is hit, I like to step back and keep my hands away from the keyboard. After that, I only look for my A++ setup, right? And if I lose that, then I'm done for the day. But if I hit 1%, then I'm done. I'm shutting down the shop, and I'm gonna come back tomorrow, and that's it, right? Because if you can't respect your daily loss, you're gonna go in the spiral loop of losing your money. And there's no one here that's gonna stop you from losing your money. The market's gonna take your money. So it's up to you how you're gonna manage these emotions to stay in the game. So some brokers do provide some a feature where if you call them, they'll let you set a max daily loss set, where let's say if you're down maybe $200 and you let them know, hey, if I'm down $200 realized, they won't let you make a trade. So most likely you'll get like a little pop-up error message that says something like oh, you can't trade, you have your max daily loss, something like that, which is very good. So you make sure you do that, especially if you're new. I would set that right away. This is something for your own benefit. I know I've done that too with a previous broker I was with, but with my new broker, I haven't called them and asked them about this if they have it, but with my previous broker, it saved me so many times. So definitely, take advantage of this. You want to put yourself in the position where you're controlled by these other forces, which are rules to keep you in place, right? Especially if you're new, because if you blow up your account in the first couple of months, you really haven't given yourself the chance of learning, right? Which is staying in the game. So make sure you follow these rules. So these were like the 4 points that I want to talk about, and these are the points that I follow them genuinely, right? And I think this can help any new trader, or even maybe someone that has 1 year of experience. Maybe they can take something from this. So that's why I made this video, to really help out the folks that may need it in terms of setting rules or starting off from somewhere. Yeah, the key thing is setting a boundary for yourself and not taking these trades emotionally. And again, if you don't have these rules, you can use the ones that I just mentioned, and then from there you can adapt or make new ones. Every trader that I know has some sort of system in place, whatever that case is, a system of entries and exits or patterns or rules. Rules are definitely part of their system, but they have some system in place. So that's what you want to work on as well, right? So I would say a system can consist of rules, the patterns, and the discipline, and which will come over time and with experience and with a lot of screen time. And don't forget, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So take your time. The market's always going to be there. There's going to be plays every day. There's going to be stocks moving up every day, moving down every day. So this is not a marathon. It's not a sprint. Okay, it's a marathon. That's what I mean. So, but let me tell you, it's not going to be easy. So this is where you got to step up and sometimes really look at yourself and catch yourself where you're making these mistakes. And you're going to make these mistakes. You're human, right? But it's a matter of catching yourself. Oh snap, I just made this mistake, right? That's also a good thing that you caught yourself. So next time you won't make it, right? Or you'll catch yourself beforehand. So make sure you try to catch yourself as much as you can so you can get better. And it's not always about P&L. I know if you're new in this field, the P&L, does sound good. And you're going to see traders that are making like 30K, 40K a day or a week. But remember, your chapter 1 doesn't compare to their chapter 20. So keep that in mind. Your chapter 1 does not compare to their chapter 20. You just started, you're on your way. But they have also went through the same thing what you're going through right now. But it's up to you how fast or how slow you're going to make this process. So hopefully you learned something from this video. And I'm going to be making more of these type of videos as well. I also do recaps on my trades, so make sure to check out the other videos as well. And my goal here is just to help out as much as I can, and all the mistakes that I've made in the past and what I've learned. And again, these rules have made me a better trader, so definitely apply these rules or adapt to them or whatever the case is. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.